Hi, everybody. We're going to now do the side segment. There are two side segments. They are mirror images of each other. So we are going to just do one. I won't show you the video of the second one because it will be exactly the same as the one we're about to do. You've got to do this section and the one on the opposite side. First thing I have to do is to make sure that the other segments don't move while we do this segment. So here I am just changing the brackets, moving them, and also I'm going to need to put in bolts through the top middle panel. Problem that I've always thought I'm going to have is this hole here can wear out over time, and then the alignment will start going off as far as making sure the mold pieces fit together perfectly. So thought to myself, if I drill out the thread, then I can have it as here on this side here I can have it with no thread, so it just guides the bolt in. That side is thread, and that means then there'll be perfect alignment all the time. So I just tested that out on one of them, and seems to work perfectly. So this one here I just drilled out, so that the bolt just slips in onto the other one and screws in perfectly. So I'm going to drill out some of these quickly and then use them. Then proceeded to install T-nuts, one side threaded, the other side no thread, all over. And then I proceeded to unbolt the segment. Then installed Okay, so just like the other corner, the other half that we did, we have to make a indentation of about 2 millimeters all along where we want the fiberglass to be. So it's going to be here. We won't do it on this side yet. We'll do it on this other side. This one over here. Right, so the first step in doing this section is going to be to just take this off so we don't get any fiberglass sticking to it, and then to put clay in the gaps. At that point in time we then can put another coat of sealer on, and then prepare to do the fiberglass. Making sure that when I cover this section with tape, that I'm careful to make sure that I get all the entire surface so that no resin will stick to the wood. It will be coated with wax and mold release, but this is the last sort of safety factor. What I then do is I apply the putty into all of the gaps, working it in and then cutting it so that I have sharp corners. Okay, the next thing to do is to decide how we're going to put the fiberglass down. And instead of trying to make a template for the entire area, I'm just going to have squares. Much easier to work with, especially when you're doing it as a one-person job. And then on the bottom here, unlike the other section where I put down wood, a wooden template, a wooden piece like that, I'm going to instead use a mat. This is a special fiberglass, a mat developed for fiberglass that allows the fiberglass to be absorbed by the mat, and then it becomes a very strong structure. So if you sandwich this between two fiberglass sheets of glass fabric, it becomes very strong. So that's what we'll use for this section. And I think we'll have two sizes of the fiberglass. I think the first one we'll do will be about 20 centimeters, and then the other one we'll do, I think we'll do about like 30 by 30 blocks of 30 by 30. Okay, so next thing to do is to go cut out some of that size. Okay, so now I've cut out those pieces, 30 by 30 and 20 wide. Now we need to determine how many pieces we will need. So we'll just do just lay them out, just so we can get an idea of how many we need. 4. So that will be 5, that's right. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 side pieces, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so 10 of the 20 wide and 7 of the large, times 4 layers. I will go and cut out that amount now to be ready. I now apply ram wax all over the surfaces, every single surface, making sure that I get into all of the corners, all of the tiny little places. I use a brush and I use the sponge to do that. I need to be as thorough as I can, making sure I get the wax into all of the surfaces. Once the wax has dried, I mix up some, or pour in some mold release, and I'm just painting the bottom of the structure because I'm going to be installing the plastic surround for the flange. Now I'm doing that now. Once I've installed the plastic edge, I will then put in silicone into the gaps to make sure that there are no leaks. After doing that, I continue to paint the tire surface with mold release. This this is the final sort of layer before we do the fiberglassing. Making sure again that I have a very good coating and that I have made sure that I've got every single little point, all the corners, all the surfaces, everything. Also coated all of the nuts and washers with the mold release to make sure that they do not adhere to the resin. Plan is to, if we put the nut through here, the way we're going to do it is we're going to first put quite thin fabric like that. Then we will put some washers. These washers have not been in any release agent. And the whole idea for the washer is that it's another form of making sure that the alignment between everything is going to be perfect. So we'll do that. Then we will put 2 layers of this fabric. And we'll sandwich it between the larger pieces of fabric. Okay. We'll put 2 layers, then we put the structure back, and then we'll put another 2 layers of this fabric. That's the plan. And then after, at the end, with these washers, we will bolt everything tightly together, and that should do it. Something else that you've never seen in one of the previous videos is this fabric. Now this fabric we put, once we've completed all the fiberglassing, I will put this fabric over the fiberglassing and roll it in. This fabric allows you to get a very nice finish on the fiberglass, allows you to get all the air bubbles out of the fiberglass, and then at the end you actually, once everything is dry, you can remove this fabric, you can rip it off, and it gives a nice finish to the fiberglass. Okay, so now we're going to just leave the release agent to dry a little bit. I will put all the bolts through, and then we will go and mix up the resin in preparation. I now just put in all of the remaining bolts, because we need the bolts to come through so that when we apply the gel coat, we can apply the gel coat around the bolts as well as the fabric. If we don't do it like that, we will have problems when we put in the insert. Of course, I will have to take them out when putting in the insert, but then all of the holes will have been prepared by doing it this way, so that it will be easy to rebolt the structure again. After doing this, I go and I pre-measure all of the resin. I'm putting part A into a number of bowls, and I'm doing them in sizes of 200 grams and 400 grams, which is very easy to work with, and it ensures that I don't have any resin that has an exothermic reaction while I'm working with it. So the trick here is to work with many small batches, and I will add the hardener as I require it. Once I have got the resin ready, I now turn to the gel coat and I mix up a mixture of the gel coat. They come in these handy little cans, and with a bottle of hardener, you just put the hardener in, mix it up for a minute, and you're ready to start using it. It's quite a thick substance, so it's quite difficult to paint, but you need to take care to make sure that you get into all of the crevices, all of the corners. It's absolutely vital that the gel coat is applied very carefully and very thoroughly, getting into every single nook and cranny. The gel coat will determine the outcome of the mold, whether it's good or whether it's bad and it has air bubbles and air pockets and gaps. So this step of applying the gel coat is absolutely vital. After letting the gel coat settle for about 20 minutes, I mixed up the first batch of resin by just adding the hardener into one of the small containers. Mixed it up for a minute, and then I just painted it over the gel coat. I do this to make sure that there's perfect adhesion between the resin and the gel coat, so that there can be no delamination occurring in the future. Once I'd painted the resin over the gel coat, I mixed up another batch of resin, and I will add a filler to this resin to create a paste, a nice thick paste. And this paste I'm now applying into all of the corners. And by doing this, it not only strengthens the corners, but it also allows the fabric to bend easily around the corners. And if you do this, you shouldn't get any air bubbles or any air gaps in the corners. So this is a vital step. Again, you need to make sure that every single sort of hard contour, difficult contour has got a paste applied to it that rounds it out, which then makes the fabric easy to put around the contour. Here I am pushing some paste into that hand gap that's underneath the pizza oven, because we need to make sure that there's no air gap there as well. Just mixing up some more resin, and we'll be painting the resin into that gap. First I'm just finishing off the pasting of the other corners of the mold. Once I've done that, I'm now pushing some of the light fabric into that gap, and by doing that I'm basically squeezing the paste, getting rid of any air bubbles. Now laying down that first layer of the flange, and now I'm taking the thin fabric, 163 grams per square meter, twill weave, which makes it easy to go over any contour, and I'm putting it over every single bolt, and then I am just painting it in with the resin, wetting it completely. And I keep doing this, and then I will start adding the thicker fabric over it and over the entire mold. Once I'm finished these initial layers, I will remove the bolts and I'll bring in the structure and I will bolt it in place. After bolting in place, I'm just wetting down the joints with resin, and now I'm going to mix up some paste and I'm going to fill all of the gaps with paste. This makes sure that this layer of fiberglass that we'll put down will adhere very strongly to this side of the segment. So again, just applying the paste into every single difficult area, and then putting thin fabric over that, and I'll be painting it in, and then just continuing to apply the fabric and again paste where I need to, until I have built up the entire structure. now coming to the end of putting the fiberglass in, so I'm just putting washers and nuts over the bolts just so that I get a good finish on those holes. And then once I have done all the fabric, I will start putting over the fabric the peel ply. This is it here now, so I'm just pushing it in, and then I'm spreading it and using a roller to get the surface nice and smooth, and to push out any air bubbles there may be. This process of using a roller over the peel ply allows or makes the different fabric layers almost kind of combine into themselves, so you get a very homogeneous finish to it. If I had spent more time doing it, I would have got a perfect finish, but I'm starting to run out of time now because this process has taken so long, and I'm getting concerned that the resin is going to start curing very soon. So I wasn't as thorough as I would normally be with rolling the peel ply, but it's sufficient what I've done, and I'm now just finishing off some of the areas, the corners of the flanges themselves, the sides of the flanges, and once I've done that, the process is complete. Following day, I just basically rip the peel ply off the mold. It just comes off with a bit of force, but comes off quite easily, and it leaves the finish like this.